Come on, a crit please. Hello everybody. Today I am going to play through Pokemon Emerald with just a Makuhita. I don't think I have ever used this Pokemon, and looking at his stats, you can't blame me. His speed is very low at just base 25, so most Pokemons are going to be able to outspeed us. And if that was not bad enough, his defenses are very low too, so we're going to take a lot of damage. To make things even worse, his move pool is not that wide, and his typing is not the best for the Juan region. Let's quickly go over the rules. I can only use Makuhita in combat, I cannot use items in combat, but health items are fine. I can't raise my evasion, and I can't use any cheats or glitches. For this run, I chose to use an adamant nature since attack is his only decent stat and any other nature would barely move the needle. Maybe by increasing my attack slightly, I will be able to one-shot a couple more Pokémons. The run does not start very well, since I lost once against May. It was because of a crit, but it still feels bad losing to her. In the second attempt, we don't get crit, so we can barely squeeze by. Yeah, I can already see the reset number climbing in the high two-digit numbers. The grunt in the forest is much easier since I learned a stab move that is also super effective on the Puchiena, so it goes down without any issues. Unlike for the Shedinja run, Roxanne is a lot easier. Before her, I learned the move Vital Throw. It's a weird move as it always makes you go second, but has good base power and it supposedly never misses. It's a bit weird since the never miss moves don't have an accuracy value, but Vital Throw has 100, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, the first gym was not that bad with a good super effective move, so we did not have to reset against her. After getting her badge, I did the Pico side quest and did not have any issues there, but then I decided to take on optional May and again she defeated me once. The second time around goes a bit better. I don't get confused and hit myself 3 times in a row, so we can defeat the Wingull. Trico can do good damage, but I can take it out before he does the same to me. Next, I decided to skip the fight against Brawly because I think that he will be able to defeat me kinda easily thanks to Bulk Up. So I moved on to Slateport, where we have to defeat some more Team Aqua grunts. This time I have Rock Tomb from Roxanne, so I have an easier time dealing with flying types, even if that move is so bad. Only 50 base power and a low 80 accuracy. The grunts are very weak, so at least we don't have to reset against them. And soon after them, it's time to take on May again. Supposedly, this is one of the hardest fights against her, but this time I did not need to reset and could beat her in the first attempt. It was close since Grovyle hurt a lot, but we got through in the end. Once we are done with her, I can grind a bit around Moville, and then I have to face the next gym. Watson was not that hard. This time I have a super effective move for the Magneton, so that guy is not as big of a deal. I also have the Guts ability, so when they are going to paralyze me, my attack will double, making sure that I will be able to one-shot all of them. It was still quite close since I survived with only 10 HP, but a win is a win nonetheless. After some more world exploration, we got to the top of the Etna and had to take on Maxi. His team is quite strong, so he defeated me a few times. He got a lot of crits, but most of them did not matter. The main problem is the fact that my Tiena has Intimidate, and with a lowered attack stat, I don't have enough damage to deal with his Camerupt, while it can do a lot of damage to me with Magnitude, especially if he gets high numbers. Once again, this fight comes down to the wire, as I managed to take it out with not that much HP left. The nightmare just started for Makuhita because the next gym leader can blast me into the stratosphere like Team Rocket with an overhit from Torkoal. Even with Guts active, I don't have enough damage to one-shot it, so I have to wait for a crit or a miss. It took quite a few attempts, more than it should in my opinion, but eventually RNG smiles upon me and I can get a crit to one-shot the Torkoal and get the badge. Well, that was kinda awful. Now we have to backtrack and along the way we stop at Brawly's gym to take his badge. Since we are very overleveled compared to his Pokémons, the fight is easy as I can just spam secret power to defeat all of them. At least we had an easy gym in between two hard ones, because our dad proved to be quite a challenge. Even if we have the type advantage, his Pokémons are too fast and do a lot of damage, so I could not do it at level 43 nor 46. I came back at level 49. I just learned reversal, so I thought that maybe it could help me, but it was not necessary. Even if I got confused, Makuhita managed to not hit itself even once, so I reached slacking with most of my HP. His AI decided to put me to sleep. I risked it with two vital throws, and it was just enough to take out the Yeti. I promise that was harder than it looked. Next, we have to fight May once again. This time too, I did not have to reset, so maybe the May curse was lifted. Her team is not that dangerous, only the Grovyle is able to survive and do decent damage to me, but it's too little too late. I guess next you are expecting Winona, but psych, I subverted your expectations as I skipped her and got the Magma Emblem. Then I fought May in Lilikov and she subverted my expectations as she defeated me once. The curse revived to stick it to me one more time. Anyway, the second attempt is a bit smoother. I don't get as unlucky, so I can take out all of her Pokémons slowly but surely. Since Guts is not active, I don't have enough attack to one-shot them, and that gives her the opportunity to confuse me. I probably should have activated it to make the fight easier, but I did not think it was needed. Once I defeated May and did some more leveling, it was time to go back and face Winona. As you might expect, since we are at a type disadvantage, her team kicked my butt a good number of times. Guts could have been a good idea here too, since it turns out that thanks to my extra levels, I can outspeed most of her team. But I did not have quite enough damage to finish her Pokémons in one hit. On the other hand, I don't have that much HP to spare, so a poison or a burn could spell my death. Ultimately, I had a somewhat lucky attempt where I did not get confused by the Pelipper, so I got the win against her in another close encounter. At least it's over, and we have to backtrack all the way to the Magma Team hideout, where we see Maxi reviving Groudon before it leaves, and he fights us. This time, he was not as bad as our previous fight. His team is the same, but he evolved the Zubat into Crobat, and that guy is the most dangerous Pokemon on his team, since he is super effective and he has like 5 times my speed. I survived on a sliver of HP and took it out. I was expecting to die against the Camerupt, but instead he gets demolished by reversal. Next up is the double fight against the Psychic type gym leaders. The number of resets is deceiving. I'll explain later why. First, we have to talk about how I aligned the stars to win this fight. So this is the strategy. First, Facade Dexatu, since he is faster. Claydol will use Earthquake, since we have 2 grounded Pokemons. Then use Vital Throw on Lunaton, and the Claydol will use again Earthquake, and Lunaton will use Calm Mind. At this point, if you are lucky, Claydol will use Earthquake again, and the Solrock will use Sunny Day. So you can use another Vital Throw on Solrock, and on the last turn, Facade Claydol to win the fight. That's why I like solo challenges. I love finding these strategies that somehow let you win against the odds. Anyway, why is the reset number deceiving? I'm not sure what happened, but I lost or forgot to record the fight against those guys. I only realized it when I was editing, but since I can see the future, I created a secondary save just before them. This way, I was able to do their fight again, but this time it was a bit easier since I knew the strategy. Strangely enough, something like that happened in the Shedinja video too, but that time I was able to find the original footage, so I used that in the video. By the way, I don't think I have to say this, but I can't actually see the future. It's just that Tate and Liza is a harder fight, so I often create a backup save so I can experiment on the main one. The double fight with Steven was kinda easy. I can still take a good amount of damage from Golbat and Crobat, but as long as I don't die, I will be fine. Next, we have to fight Archie. His team is more or less like Max's one, but this time it was a lot easier. Crobat is still a problem. He confused me, but thankfully this time Makuhita ignores it. He also potions it so many times that in the end I can outspeed it because of all the speed drops from Rock Tomb. The Sharpedo turned out to be kind of a problem as I get confused again by Swagger. I hit myself and all of a sudden I don't feel so healthy anymore. The second turn I get through and defeat the shark. That could have gone much worse. Next we have to save the world, and you can do the same by clicking the like button, subscribing and ringing the bell icon. And if you want to add some more moral grayness to the story, comment how cringe this segue was. Hey, I've got to put the shameless plug somewhere, and only at the end of the video. It's not good enough for YouTube apparently. The last gym leader is Juan and his water types. His team does not look threatening, but there are some surprises like the Latvisk, who confuses me, and of course I have to punch myself a couple of times. I don't think Guts was a good idea for this fight, as there are a couple of Pokemons faster than me, and their damage plus the poison one could easily burn up all of my HP. Kingdra trolls me with a double team, but at least does not confuse or freeze me. If I was poisoned at this point, I would surely die because of all the misses. On the other hand, I would also one-shot Kingdra and take away his opportunity to rest, so it's kinda hard to say what the optimal strategy would have been. The rest of the team is weak to fighting, so they are easy one-shots. With the last gym defeated, it's finally time we start the journey through Victory Road. Here, as usual, we find Wally, who wants one last friendly fight against us. His team is kinda scary to be honest. Altaria thankfully does nothing, but the Gardevoir first uses Future Sight and then trolls me with Double Team before chunking me with Psychic. At this point I thought I was dead because of the Future Sight, but instead it did no damage because I think it uses the Catty's stats and typing. The rest of his team is not as bad, and I'm able to take them out before they could finish me. After we defeated Wally and went through the rest of the Victory Road, it's time to start the league. Here I took a controversial decision as I leveled all the way to 100 before starting it. I know it's not the best for the video, but I did not want to get stuck at Drake or Wallace and have to restart. I know some people want to see the struggle, and to those I say don't worry about it. Sidney was easy because I am super effective, so the intimidate does not do much. Next up is Phoebe, and she was a bit more problematic since I could not use fighting or normal moves, who have been the bread and butter of this run. So I had to teach Makuhita Earthquake. It's a good move, but it's not as strong as the other options. Thanks to Guts being active, I had enough attack to one-shot all of her ghosts, so that's another Elite Four dealt with. Thankfully, there were no curses cast in this fight. The next Elite Four is Glacia, who should be easy too, since I am super effective on her, and she does not have Intimidate either. There could only be problems if one of her Pokémons outspeeds and freezes me with an Ice Beam or something like that. But I have to say that I have been pleasantly surprised about how many Pokémons I am able to outspeed, all thanks to those extra levels. So far, the league has been quite easy, but you wanted the struggle, so Drake is here to deliver. The fight against him was not that fun because the Flygon would do a lot of damage to me, and then the Salamence finished me off. To beat him, I also needed a crit against Salamence, otherwise I don't have enough damage because of the Intimidate. To get the coveted crit, it took quite a few attempts. In some of them, I did not even get to try as I got crit myself by Flygon. After a while, I leave a Dragon Claw and don't crit him back, but then he potions it, and at that point I get the crit to finally win this fight. Only Wallace left, and he can't be that bad, right? Well, kinda. Let me explain. His Gyarados is effectively the same as a Salamence. I thought I needed a crit to one-shot it, otherwise it will be able to defeat me, or at least do too much damage to me. And then the Milotic could finish me. So I was once again asking for a crit. This time I was a lot more lucky though, since I only lost once because during the second attempt, while fighting the Gyarados, I found out that the crit was not required and apparently a very high roll was enough to put him 6 feet under. His last Pokemon is Milotic. Because of the Intimidate, I don't have quite enough damage to take it out, and I was worried that Wallace would stall me out by using full restores until I ran out of HP because of poison. But once again, a high roll comes in clutch and saves me from a certain doom by allowing me to take out the Milotic and defeat the champion. I have to say this run was not as easy, but also not as bad as I thought. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe, as well as ring the bell and leave a comment. You know I read and answer all of them. See you next week. Bye!